Godzilla.
When we were on the set, I think we watched you shoot the scene where Brian Tyree and the kids are sort of underneath the skull, and they're looking up, and they're seeing like sort of the controls and everything, and that got cut from the film. And yeah, could you talk a little bit about like cutting that and sort of just your thoughts about why you cut certain things and what you wanted to emphasize?
No, it's always fun to talk about the deleted scenes elements, because I know that growing up and hearing directors talk about, like the deleted scenes from Star Wars, like the one that always came to mind was in Return of the Jedi. There was the sandstorm sequence when they're going into the Millennium Falcon, and they cut it.
Which was the first day of shooting on that film.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. And apparently it was just a disaster, right? And and it was ultimately unnecessary. But it was one of those like kind of things you always read about and you just wanted to see for years, So I always got excited reading about deleted scenes and everything. But anyways, with the scene that you saw that you were there for, the first half of the scene is actually in the movie. So whenever they actually go and see the big skull set, that was the first part of the scene that you saw. And then what it used to be is that they ran underneath the skull, and then it was a little bit too Scooby-Doo. It was like the characters, they overheard the villains talking about important plot stuff while they're underneath there. And they kind of hung out there for a little bit. And then the movie picks back up. The stuff that you do see that connects to that is whenever the next time you see them is Madison entering the skull, like we cut to a bunch of stuff in Hollow Earth, and then we come back and she's opening the hatch and they're sneaking into it. And so there was a couple sequences that actually directly linked from this to this. But, when you're making a movie like this, a lot of the times, some plot things, they kind of shift and you don't need it, or it's too much or whatever. But also, you're just trying to make as densely entertaining of a film as possible. So that means that sometimes you don't need those direct connection pieces. Sometimes they just end up being, as they say, shoe leather, and that's just got to go. And so that it wasn't anything like crazy or traumatic with those scenes. I would say that when you do a big studio blockbuster film, you're kind of shooting 3 movies, and you're picking the best one. You're picking one movie. But it doesn't mean that there's like, oh, I wish I could release all 3 of those films. It's like, no. 2 and 3 are not good movies. Number 1, that's the one that you want to see. And so you just end up whittling it down to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for talking to me today, and I can't thank you enough for making this movie. Not to knock the other MonsterVerse movies or even the 98 movie, but I think you're the first American to get this right. And
thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
You just said, the monsters are the stars. You were the first person to get that.
Well, and I think we could still go even further with that. So hopefully I'll get another chance to push it even more into that realm. We'll see.
Kong bows to no one.